Good evening on this Friday evening. Wasn't sure I was going to do a video today. I was going to let things slide, let things die down. I saw a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, freaking out. See, last night I did a video, and I actually did the video, my live broadcast, actually while the Pro Bowl was going on. I didn't even know what time it was because I didn't really care. And then we saw what happened. People started DMing me and sending me tweets and sending me messages saying, you gotta see this. You gotta see what happened here. And yeah, our boy choked. Our boy choked really, really bad. Tua Tagovailoa absolutely choked. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the performance. I'm really going to talk about where do we go from here, and there's a couple other things I want to get into. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this video whatsoever. I put up a poll this morning, and here's what the poll said. Did you see Tua Tagovailoa choke at the Pro Bowl games? Yes, it was awful, 26%. Make a video about it. No, I missed it. Make a video about it. But only 15% of people said, no, can't talk about it. Don't even, just skip it. So 85% of the people who watch my channel basically said, yeah, you got to talk about it. So I'm a man of the people. I got to give the people what they want. So I spent some time digesting some things. Now understand, and I'm going to go with a full disclaimer here. I don't give a shit about the Pro Bowl. I've never given a shit about the Pro Bowl. Not for years, maybe since Sean Taylor laid out that punter back in 2001 or whenever it was. Back when they actually used to hit during the Pro Bowl. When they used to actually play football at the Pro Bowl. So I've never been a big advocate for the Pro Bowl when they turned it into this Nickelodeon farce, which is basically a fan festival. You can go back and look at my Twitter profile, and I was like, this is a waste of time. I don't want to have anything to do with it. It's nuts. It's crazy. It means absolutely nothing. And I mean that. In my eyes, in my perspective, it means absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. But then again, I realized that it means a hell of a lot. So I want to take you back to a more impressive Miami Dolphins time. A time not too long ago when people really heralded what was going on at the Pro Bowl and the games around it. There was a guy, you may know him as Dan Marino. And Dan Marino participated in this throwing competition in 1991, a full 33 years ago. This is still being circulated today. So there's a reason why people were circulating. Look at his face, total game face, ready to perform, ready to compete. And obviously you can see what Dan's doing here. Dan is basically making an unbelievable throw to the deepest target downfield, way downfield. He's absolutely pumped. He's psyched. What he just did mattered to him and to fans. Obviously, it's still being talked about today, 33 years later. So don't tell me that the fans, even though I said none of this shit matters, don't tell me that the fans didn't think that last night mattered. Can't tell me that. Barry, how do you know that? How do you know that they cared? Well, I watched what happened leading up to the Pro Bowl. Did you guys follow? Probably not a lot of you guys are on Twitter, but you didn't see what was happening on Twitter. For all these people who complain today, it doesn't matter. Tua sucked. Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. It meant something to you a month ago. It meant something to you, as soon as they started tallying votes. You had to have this Pro Bowl. It meant so much to you. Oh, he wasn't even trying. Oh, okay, so it was all a farce. You didn't really care. I saw some of the Dolphins YouTubers out there talking a lot of shit about how they didn't care. It means absolutely nothing. Really? Really? All right, so this is Blake Ferguson, who is the long snapper on the special teams for the Miami Dolphins. Let's go, Fin fans. The last 48 hours of Pro Bowl voting. Social media votes count for double. Vote for the boys. There was a huge push for something that didn't matter. Oh, why would you be pushing for something that didn't matter to you? If none of this was important to anybody, it was just BS, why were you asking people to vote for all these players? And then, the usual suspects jumped right in. Hey, this is Christmas Eve. Let's get our guys to the Pro Bowl. Today is the last day of voting. Every retweet counts as 2 votes. And they started stuffing the ballot. Why? By your own admission today, after Tua put on the choker, none of this stuff mattered. But it mattered to you a month ago. King of Finland. Hey, only 2 days left, everybody. Every retweet counts as 2 votes. Get out there and vote for your team. It means something to me today. Doesn't mean anything to me now because I saw what happened yesterday, right? Okay. Another one from the King of Finland. Hey, everybody, today is the last day of voting. Get out there. Every retweet counts as 2 votes. It mattered to him on, December 25th. Not even, a little over a month ago. Okay. Kevin Harlan effect. Another big advocate on Twitter for the Miami Dolphins. Let's get as many of our guys into the Pro Bowl as possible. Retweets count as votes. Retweet this. Get these guys into the Pro Bowl. It's extremely important that we get our team and our team members into the Pro Bowl. Really? I didn't think it mattered. I'm confused. I don't really understand what happened. This was on, December 22nd. What happened? Again, Big E, who was the fan of the year last year. Pro Bowl voting via social media officially starts today. Retweets count as votes. Retweet this tweet to vote for these Miami Dolphins players. And they told people to do this over and over and over. And this was, when this was. December 11th. December 11th. Retweet, everybody. It means something. Big E again. Pro Bowl voting continues on social media. Retweets count as votes. Retweet this to get the Miami Dolphins into the Pro Bowl. If it didn't matter, why was there such a humongous push by so many across the board? Dolphins YouTubers, Miami Dolphins Twitter. It was voluminous. I could have played you literally hundreds of tweets. I went back and checked to see how many of these people were putting this shit up there. And I lost my mind. When it was happening, I'm like, this means nothing. This is Nickelodeon on steroids. This is people playing flag football. Why does it matter? We got to get to the Pro Bowl. Why? It doesn't mean anything. Guys, you're wasting your time. This is just some sort of fan fest activities. Doesn't mean anything. Oh, no, it means everything, Barry. We can put Pro Bowl starter and we can attach it to Tua's name. It means everything. Really? Really? Okay. I just wanted to know how this works. I didn't really understand it. It mattered so much on December 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We had to get Tua into the Pro Bowl. Everybody, just keep stuffing as many ballots as you possibly can. Let's make sure Tua blows the doors off everybody. Let's make sure he's a top vote getter. Let's make sure he's in the Pro Bowl. Go check it. He ended up being the top Pro Bowl person on the AFC. Brock Purdy was number 1 in the NFC. Hundreds and thousands of votes. Many people voting 20, 30 times. It was that important. It meant so much to get Tua to be named a Pro Bowl starter. It meant so much just to get him on a team. Never mind a Pro Bowl starter. Don't let anybody lie to you. Today, they're all friggin' liars. Every single one of them. Every single Dolphins YouTuber, every single large account on Twitter. They're all friggin' lying to you today and telling you it didn't matter what happened last night. So what happened last night, Barry? I can't show it because of NFL copyright rules, but our boy went out there and he entered the competition. And when he entered the competition, it's only like a minute long. I'm not sure how much I can show here, but I'm not going to take any risks. So I'm just going to take it off. You can find this video just about anywhere, but you can see Tua nonchalantly throwing the football, just throwing it out there. Nice spiral on the ball. Here's the gold ball. He's going to flip it back. There were actually people, what was funny, there were actually people complaining that the guy handing him the ball was on his wrong side. That's how crazy they got. He should have been on the other side, so it would have been easier for Tua to throw. Oh, he didn't have as much time because Baker Mayfield was distracting him. You can see the clock. He had the full 30 seconds. He just crapped the bed. He just completely crapped the bed. No excuses. None. But today, you would think, oh man, none of this matters. It's the Pro Bowl. Nobody cares what happens in the Pro Bowl. Barry, why are you even talking about this? Come on, man. You know this doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. And I would look at somebody's history. I guess they don't know you can search their history. And I'm like, dude, a month ago you were pushing for Tua to be in the Pro Bowl. But today it doesn't mean anything. I think they call that a hypocrite. And I'm not really pissed at Tua because I truly feel it does mean nothing. What I'm pissed at is all these fanboys out there who try to build up everything that Tua says and does, and then when it craps out, oh, I didn't say that, I didn't mean that. That's not true. Everybody knows this doesn't mean anything. Everybody knows it's just, fun fest and, just whatever it is. You're a lying sack of shit. You couldn't wait for Tua to get to the Pro Bowl. You said it over and over and over. Vote, 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 vote. And then it happens, he goes there and he shits the bed, finishes dead last. And today, all the excuses you could imagine came up. One of the excuses, which just completely cracked me up, he didn't want to be there. What? The starting quarterback captain of our team, who you pushed to get into the Pro Bowl, didn't really want to be there. I've heard it over and over and over today. He didn't care. Really? Okay, so you're thinking that the captain of the team, who you've pushed and pushed and pushed to get into the Pro Bowl, you got him there, said, I'm just going to come up here and just Mickey Mouse my way through it up here in Disney World, and I'm just going to throw shit around because I don't really care. I don't need to be here. Then you're a bigger fool than you were in December. If the quarterback you were pushing didn't want to compete, why the hell did he go? Why did he go up there and embarrass himself? Well, Barry, you don't understand. This is something where he just felt obligated. I actually had somebody say to me today, have you never done something for work you didn't want to do? And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Seriously. I'm sure when I look at it, there's going to be some people in the comments saying, Barry, what's the big deal? I already told you. I think the Pro Bowl is shit. I don't think it's a big deal to go there. Except you made it a big deal by pushing everybody to go out there and vote and get your boy there, our boy. And then when he craps the bed, pretend like it never happened. Like we went through some sort of, mind meld thing from, Men in Black. Hey, I don't know what you're talking about, man. It doesn't mean anything. Well, how the hell did it mean something last month? And then, besides people saying he didn't care, they were saying he didn't really want to be there, he didn't want to compete. But then you forget your boy gets out there in front of a microphone. And then when he gets out in front of a microphone, he embarrasses you, me, the team, even further. This was said on TV. I can't play it because of the NFL, but I can sure enough show you. So this was said to Ryan Clark on the air live last night. I felt a lot of pressure. Tua told Ryan Clark from ESPN, who asked if he felt pressure to perform as he was one of the most accurate passers in the league. A lot of these guys are good throwers. Quote, I didn't come with the A game that I wanted to today. I felt a lot of pressure. Go ahead and sink that in for a little bit. I'm going to take a sip of some water here so you can actually just look at that and let it sink in. Because we're going to talk about this. I felt a lot of pressure. A lot of these guys are good throwers. I didn't come with the A game that I wanted to today. So Tua did care. You lied and you were wrong. Again, the left arm of God told you you were wrong. The left arm of God said, hey, listen, I wanted to perform today. I wanted to bring my A game. But I felt pressure. When I was looking at the video, I didn't see any defensive ends coming after him. I didn't see any linebackers blitzing. Looked kind of warm in Orlando inside an indoor arena. What friggin' pressure did you feel, Tua? What the hell are you talking about that you felt pressure to compete in an office picnic party, essentially? Not my words, his words. I felt not just a little bit of pressure, I felt a lot of pressure. A lot of these guys are good throwers. I didn't come with my A game that I wanted to have today. A, I want to be here. B, I wanted to do very well and bring my A game, and I couldn't because of the pressure. What pressure? Okay. You're sitting there throwing a football at dummies. There's nobody rushing you. It's not cold. And you can't hit a friggin' dummy. Oh, well, Baker Mayfield said something and threw me off my game. What? You know, he made me nervous because he was telling me to do things and I was listening to him and, it kind of threw me off. Heard that one today, too. Then I heard some guy who said, well, Tua only threw 14 passes in the whole 60 seconds that he had, whereas, C.J. Stroud and some of these other guys threw for 22 for 23 passes. So if you take the points per they really dug into it that far to try and prove that Tua was actually better. He just didn't throw enough passes. Come on, guys. Ladies. Again, this isn't me saying it. Those are his exact words. I saw the interview in person. I saw it live. I can't play it here. You can go look it up. I felt a lot of pressure. A lot of these guys are good throwers. I didn't come with the A game that I wanted to today. Stop lying to yourselves. Stop lying to other people. Stop trying to gaslight other Miami Dolphins fans. Stop trying to pretend like it never happened. It wasn't supposed to be. Tua wasn't supposed to even be there. It didn't matter. But it mattered a whole shit ton a month ago, 6 weeks ago. You couldn't get enough votes to get Tua to the Pro Bowl. You couldn't stop. So why all of a sudden, when he craps out completely, dead last, does the propaganda machine start today with all the other excuses? Why am I the one again talking about it? I didn't see any of the other YouTubers. Maybe TD will do a show. I didn't see anybody else going, hey man, he crapped out. No, what I did hear was he was in a no-win situation. He was in a no-win situation. If he had balled out, everybody would say it doesn't matter. So if he craps out, everyone's going to say he's no good. You know what they call that kind of a circular argument? You're just trying to make excuses. You voted, you pushed people to vote. He got there, he came in dead last. Period. End of story. He felt pressure. Your captain of the quarterback and captain of the team felt pressure throwing to tackling dummies. No crowd noise, no temperature, nobody rushing, nobody blitzing up the middle. Just throw the damn ball and hit the targets. Have some fun while you're out there, but show us you are the most accurate quarterback in the league. What you showed us was that Tyreek Hill is an acrobat, and he's caught so many of your passes, it looks easy. Mike McDaniel's offense put you in a position where you could, quote, be the biggest passing yardage quarterback in the league. You're out there by yourself. The dummies can't move. The stations, down there with 3 points, 4 points, 10 points, all those, they don't move. They're sitting there waiting for you to hit them. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Why? Because you felt a little bit of pressure. This is the guy that you want to pay $50 million to. Cool. So let me go ahead and stop there for a second, because I'm dying here to see what some of you guys are saying. So let me click into here. What's funny, I'm not going to lie, Tua did better than I thought. So that bar was really low set for you. Wow. Yeah, Shay says, yeah, but we're talking about a game here. Being in Orlando shouldn't prevent him from giving his all. No. Like I showed you, I'll put it up again. This is Dan Marino, 33 years ago, getting ready to perform at the Pro Bowl Quarterback Challenge. Look at his face, man. This guy is pumped. He can't wait to get out there. Our guy, everyone's telling us, doesn't really matter, didn't mean anything, just a pageant. Just a beauty pageant, didn't mean anything. Well, it seemed like the other guys had a good time and still hit freaking targets. Let's see here. He doesn't even have the ego to play the silly Pro Bowl game. No swagger, no I'm a badass. If this is pressure, then he can't hang with the big boys. I didn't say it. He said it. Felt a lot of pressure. He wasn't joking. Ryan Clark asked him, and that's what he said. Seems like every time somebody sticks a microphone in front of Tua, the wrong thing comes out. And I'm going to get into some other wrong things that came out today as we get to it, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the Pro Bowl. I spent already 25 minutes talking about it, but I just wanted to address the BS that goes on with Miami Dolphins fans, at least on Twitter. It's a complete gaslighting propaganda machine that operates 24/7 to make sure nothing ever gets said badly about Tua, and then they will attack you if you ask a question. Okay, it was a bad day. Do we try to pinpoint the dumbest stuff now? The ball out in the game, will pass it by. Okay, it was a bad, but why do we try to pinpoint the dumbest stuff now if the ball out in the game will pass it by? I don't know what that means, what you're saying, but all I'm telling you is I don't care about the Pro Bowl. I don't care if he missed every single target. It doesn't mean anything to me. What I'm talking about is the effort from Tuanon and all the other people, the other YouTubers, to gaslight you. And it's just part of a bigger problem where everything is perfect. Tua is him. Tua is he. He's the left arm of God. And he's not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. People are afraid to call the emperor having no clothes on. Emperor walked out there last night, didn't have any clothes on, came in dead last. And people this morning were like, oh, what? What do you mean? Hey, it's not that bad. It doesn't mean anything. So then why'd you ask everyone in God's creation to vote 2, 3, 20 times if it didn't mean anything? That's what I'm trying to point out to you. That's what I'm trying to say. It meant so much to get everybody to get him there. And then this morning, you're all saying, not you specifically, they're all saying, oh, hey, man, it was just a game. It didn't mean anything. All right, so then just remember that next year. Just remember that if he's in a position to be voted into the Pro Bowl, don't vote. Tell yourself, hey, it doesn't mean anything. You just said it. All your tweets will be categorized and cataloged for next year when you just said today that it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't. I mean, Josh Allen, a couple other guys said, I'm not going there. I'm not playing that silly stuff. You committed to going. Once you committed to going, once Tua said, I will be there, see, that's the other problem I have. You gave your word, just like last year with the interviews with Mike Florio and Phil Simms. You gave your word that you were going to go. Once you gave your word that you were going to go, it's up to you to perform for the people who paid and bought tickets. I mean, you're still on a stage. You're representing the Miami Dolphins. So if you didn't plan on giving it your all, don't friggin' go. So now you're entering into a whole nother category of basically going there under fraudulent pretenses if you're saying he didn't want to be there. That's what I was telling some people. That you understand what you're saying? When you're saying it didn't matter and he didn't even want to be there, he didn't want to compete, then all those people who paid money to be there were defrauded. Hey man, this guy doesn't even want to be here. This guy representing the Miami Dolphins, he's already cashed out the check. Said to hell with it, and we're not going to see a real show from him. We're not going to see the same kind of show that we saw from this guy in 1991, where he put on game face and said, I'm going to show everybody out here I got the best arm of all these NFL quarterbacks. Why did Marino do it and Tua didn't do it? Didn't mean anything. 1991 is no different than today in terms of the meaning of the exhibition. But Marino went there and busted his ass. You know why? Because he wanted to show everybody else, I got it. It meant something to him. So now you're telling me that the guy who blew the last part of the season, who wasn't the top-rated passer when it counted, showed up in Orlando for the Pro Bowl, and he didn't even want to be there. Didn't want to compete. That's what you want to tell the world? It's sad that kind of gaslighting even occurred. Dolphins Nation know not to say anything to me. Tua sucks, period. And if Chris Greer and Stephen Ross pay Tua that money, it will be a disgrace. Again, fire Greer. I'm not going to go here about the Hawaiians, but yeah, they are some tough people. And the Samoans as well. Hey, Joseph, love your live stuff. Got to sign off and get some sleep. All right, brother. Thank you. You can catch the replay tomorrow. Maybe No. Samoans are not soft people whatsoever. Some of the fiercest people you'd ever want to meet. I don't know what's going on with Tua. I can't tell you. I'm not going to even guess. What do we got here? Will you talk about, what's this? Will you talk about Mostert's golf hit into the lake too? I didn't see it. I'm sorry. And I did see a lot of people saying that, anything trying to get me to believe that Mostert was a good golfer. I didn't see any of those tweets. Hey, listen, go ahead and vote for Mostert to get him in the Pro Bowl because he's a great golfer. Didn't see any of those kind of tweets. All I saw was, we had to get Tua there. It was a waste of votes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Played 4 seasons, 4 season-ending collapses. You see a noodle arm. No, unfortunately, it won't be see ya noodle arm. Sorry, hate to break it to you, but it does appear as though the Miami Dolphins are going to pay this guy $45 million per year. It just seems that way. So I'm not going to spend any more time on it. You guys know what you feel about why he got there and what he was supposed to do when he did play. But to me, it was a choke job, and it was a choke job that did need to happen because it's a do-nothing competition. Means absolutely nothing. Does not tie into the regular season whatsoever. The only thing that bothered me was that the propaganda and absolute machine that was in place to get to the Pro Bowl, and then their complete capitulation today. I mean, it was instantaneous. Last night, instantaneous. Hey, it doesn't mean anything. Anybody talking about it at this point, you're just a hater. And I do mean within like 15 minutes of it ending and him coming in last place, every one of the people who pushed people to vote were saying, don't worry about it, doesn't mean anything. They made themselves look stupid. For the 2-week or 3-week period that they were trying to get people to vote for Tua because it was so important, they basically became, Peter and denied it 3 times before the game, the damn thing even got cool. No, I didn't say that. Ooh, no, doesn't mean anything, man. Oh, let's just move on. Stop being a hater. But you told me it was very, very important. No, now I'm not. That was before. No, now that he shit the bed, let's just agree and say, it didn't need to happen. I was amused. It just cracked me up, and I just wondered, I sat back, is anybody else seeing this shit, or is it just me? And luckily, there were quite a few people who were like, this is stunning. This whole Dolphins Twitter thing was stunning. Watching how fast people flipped and completely let everybody know it didn't mean anything. Don't worry about it. It has nothing to do. He's still the left arm guy. I couldn't fathom it. There was a lot of other people who couldn't fathom it too. And some of you guys are in here, and you know who I'm talking about, and you just couldn't understand how fast that turned on. The propaganda turned from into the Pro Bowl to forget he was ever there. It was like the usual suspects, and he was gone. They didn't want you talking about it anymore. Barry, you're not a real fan. Well, I'm the one you told to vote for him, but now you're telling me I'm not a real fan because I'm asking questions. Go cover another team. Wrong answer. You don't get to say that. Brian L. says he may be physically equipped, but his mental capacity is done. Jerry Fajolami says they're hypocrites. Jimmy, he was in last place, and if you looked on Twitter, there were just a cornucopia of reasons why he ended up in last place, and then there were even people manipulating the results to show he was actually in second place if you counted it this way. It was amazing. It was stunning. You could have just brought out like a cup of coffee and a couple of donuts and sat back and just watched the stream and just watched people do mental gymnastics to try and say it wasn't a big deal, even though they were the same people saying it was a big deal. It was phenomenal. And, a few of the people I talked to back and forth were just like, are you seeing this? I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing it, man. I'm watching this stream of consciousness happen, and I'm watching the deflection. And one or two of the large YouTube Dolphins guys and have decent-sized Twitter following were just basically contorting themselves like Olga Corbett to try and say, no big deal. Typical. It's absolutely typical, and that's why I just keep making these videos, because like I said, this isn't a negative video about Tua. I just want you to understand that. He came in last. That's a fact. Whatever reason, he felt pressure. That's a fact. He said it. It is what it is. It's a Pro Bowl funny game. Doesn't make any sense. To me, I wouldn't even go. But he decided to go. He committed to go. You need to give the people a show. Put on a show. That's all I'm saying. So, some of you guys had asked about this extension thing. Well, get ready for the last place Pro Bowl quarterback, and a quarterback who has gone one and done in the playoffs, to get $45 or $50 million. This was a post today by Barry Jackson. On a potential long-term contract with the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa told Adam Beasley and Joe Shad at the Pro Bowl today that, quote, I believe it will happen. That would suggest a Dolphin conviction that he's their guy long-term and there's no turning back. So they seemingly have decided they're going to push all their chips into the middle of the table and give this kid $45 and $50 million, even though you still have an option and 2 franchise tags where you could just keep him for basically the price you have him now. You're going to go ahead. Chris Greer is going to go ahead and push all in and pay Tua the big money. But it wasn't just Barry Jackson who said it. No, it wasn't Barry Jackson. I want y'all to hear something, okay? Check this out.
I believe that will happen, but I'm going to let, my agents, going to let, Chris, Mike, let those guys talk about that and let them move forward accordingly. As we all know, there's some changes, to our coaching staff. I think there's going to continue to be, changes all over. But throughout this offseason, I think as we look at it, it's going to be a new team, new outlook,
Going to be a new team. Remember Chris Greer saying he's going to turn over 30 to 40% of the team. They're going to be gone. So there's going to be a new team. What does the nucleus of this new team look like? Tua just said that. Those are his words. He just said it's a new team. In addition to saying, yeah, I'm getting my money, I'm getting paid, it's also going to be a new team.
Hopefully we can keep a lot of guys as well. I think the main thing is getting together as much as we can throughout this offseason with the guys that are going to be here and get that.
All right, so you just heard it. I'll rewind it. You can hear it one more time, but this is Tua.
I believe that will happen, but
I'm going to get my money.
I'm going to let, my agents, going to let, Chris, Mike, let those guys talk about that and let them move forward accordingly. As we all know, there's some changes, to our coaching staff. I think there's going to continue to be, changes all over, but throughout this offseason,
there is going to continue to be changes all over. Don't know what that means. Obviously, we're not privy to this kind of information, but obviously, there's a lot of shit going on with the Miami Dolphins right now.
Season, I think, as we look at it, it's going to be a new team, new outlook. Hopefully we can keep a lot of guys as well. I think the main thing is getting together as much as we can throughout this offseason with the guys that are going to be here and get that work.
There you have it, directly from his mouth. Today, this afternoon, he said that. Looks like it's going to happen. Looks like I'm going to get my money. Looks like I'm going to get paid. They're taking care of the details. I'll be here long term. You're going to pay me $45 or $50 million a year. You're going to guarantee me a boatload of money. We're going to change a whole lot of things, a lot of different players. We're going to hopefully keep a couple, which I'm going to get mine. It seems as though the Miami Dolphins at this point have already decided, Katie bar the door, we're giving Tua a big, fat bag of money. Dude hasn't proved himself. Hasn't won a single playoff game. Got to the Pro Bowl. That doesn't mean anything now. So next time you hear anybody say that he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, you can tell, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything, right? You just spent the entire day telling us that the Pro Bowl is bullshit. Doesn't mean anything. Okay, well then let's take that off the resume. It's a fake vote. It's ballot harvesting for football. Call it what it is. It's no different than certain elections that go on every 4 years. You stuff the ballot. Unfortunately, it's not illegal, but you stuffed the ballot to get him as a Pro Bowl quarterback. But you already said today that it doesn't mean anything. So let's take that off the table as there being any sort of attribute or accolade. Doesn't mean anything. Your words, not mine. Now, when you've done this to yourself and said it doesn't mean anything, again, I sat back today and went, okay, so if the Pro Bowl definition means absolutely nothing, you're going to pay him $45 million a year because he's the comeback player of the year? Because that's all he's got. That's the only thing that we could be looking at as saying, hey, listen, we need to give him $45 million a year. Oh, Barry, he was a passing leader. Against shitty teams he was. Yes, he was. Didn't help when he played good teams. But, okay, so what are you giving him $45 million for? Which is going to take a number of years, and he's going to be the quarterback long term. He's going to be the franchise guy. And I'm like, perfect. I'm going to have a shitload of content. I'm going to have so much content, I'm probably going to be bored out of my mind because of what Tua Tagovailoa getting $45 or $50 million a year is going to mean to this franchise. Barry, why are you so tough on Tua? Why are you being a hater? No, I'm not being a hater. I've already seen enough. Somebody asked me today on Twitter, you used to be a big Tua fan. Look how fast you turned. And whoa. Fast? Fast? I broadcast 36 games live since I've been doing Miami Dolphin stuff. I broadcast preseason games. I watched preseason practice. I went down to some preseason practices. I covered minicamp. It's not fast. I have a bank of information in front of me that says, hey, this ain't the guy. It wasn't a turn. I didn't flip-flop. I watched 2 years of data. And the only thing of data that I can look at that was anything successful, and if you're being true to yourself, you as well, the only thing you can see is that he threw well against teams that sucked. One and done in the playoffs. No win. Yes, he stayed healthy this year. Fantastic. Couldn't run a quarterback sneak, but we're not going to go there. He stayed healthy. Actually, I guess that is me going there. And because he did what he was supposed to do, stay healthy, you're going to give him $45 million a year. You can basically find any quarterback out there to probably try and stay healthy if that's the bar. You could draft a couple rookies this year and say, hey, listen, can you just make sure you're on the field? If you're on the field, we'll give you $45 million. Do I need to go to the playoffs? Nope. Do I need to go to the Pro Bowl? Oh, don't worry about that. That doesn't count. So all I got to do is throw for a bunch of yards and don't have to win any playoff games and just stay healthy, and I'm worth $45 million. That's what the Miami Dolphins are saying. That is the new standard for the Miami Dolphins. Stay healthy. Go to a fake Pro Bowl. Fold under the pressure of an exhibition, and you get $45 million. Make any sense to you? Seriously, guys. I know a bunch of you are diehard fans, and I know it really irks you that I talk this way about Tua, but can you honestly look yourself in the mirror and say he's earned the right to be paid $45 million per year as an NFL quarterback? Let me find out what you have to say about that. Okay. All right, Jerry, you've got a good point. Check the revenue generated during the season. It's amazing. So be positive about Miami because of successful business. Winning is the name of the game. So you're saying that he generated revenue that made Stephen Ross profitable, and so that justifies it. Okay, I can see your point there. So then it doesn't matter if the team goes to the playoffs, is what you're saying. The playoffs would just be a side benefit. Just a side dish to a nice entree. Hey, Tua, just get out there and sell tickets and parking and concessions, and that'll be fine. Okay. If that's all it is, then say it. Hey, we're going to pay Tua because you know what? It makes money for the team. We don't care if we want to win. Understand what you're saying there. You know, you could have it both ways by putting a good product on the field, but you're saying right now, just take the money. You said, Sal, you have a stroke that was nonsensical. Miami could have taken a quarterback or a lineman in round 3 this year, but Ross stupidly cost the team. Idiot. Shate says there is no reason to pay him big bucks. Honestly, just play a 5th-year option, and there is just a marginal tick up. We have 2 franchise tag years in our back pocket. You're making way too much sense. Why would you let a guy play for 23 or 24 million for the next year and see what he can do when you can give him 45, a raise of $22 million for doing nothing? The other guy just talked about how it's business sense, and I'm thinking, and you just answered what I was going to say. If it was business sense at $23 million, why isn't it business sense next year at $23 million? Why do you have to pay him? Since we're not talking about wins, and all we want him to do is stay healthy for 17 games, we don't care if you make it through the playoffs. We don't care if you go one and done. You're making the team money. Okay, so you already made the team money. Why do you got to pay? Why do you give him a raise? He's already in the contract. See, one of the problems I'm having with Tua, and some of you guys aren't going to like this. As a Christian man, yeah, I'm going to go there. If I make a deal with you, I'm going to do that deal. Handshake, contract, whatever it is, I'm going to do that deal. I said a couple weeks ago, the Tua I know is different than the Tua who's out there right now. The Tua I knew didn't have braids and a do-rag on his head. The Tua I knew would make a contract and a deal and hold up to it. Why are you having agents right now pushing to change that deal before March because you got to have your money and get an extension? That's a whole other area that has disappointed me. It's like, hey, man, you know you haven't proven anything. Play the fifth-year option and then say, just like Christian Wilkins, let me see what I do next year. Why is it different for Tua than Christian Wilkins? Christian Wilkins couldn't get the money he wanted. As Chris Greer said, I'm going to bet on me. Why won't Tua bet on himself? Why won't Tua say, you know what, I got a contract. I'm here for the fifth year. I'm going to make $23 million. I'm going to bet on myself. I bet I am going to ball out so good next year that we're going to win some playoffs and possibly win the AFC Championship. And if I do all that, I'm going to get paid $55 million a year from somebody. Maybe the Dolphins, maybe not. Christian Wilkins did it. Why can't Tua do it? Say, I got you on that one. That's a little chess match for you. Did you know that? Did you know that Christian Wilkins played on his option? And then Chris Greer said he's earned the right for free agency? Tell me why Tua can't do that. Hey, Tua, just play on the $23 million, fifth year. It's plenty of money. Not going to go broke. See what you can do. Bet on yourself. Put your ass where you want the money. Nobody wants to say that, though. I'm sure half the league is calling us to pick up Tua's tab. I know that's a joke. The next year is optional. They don't have to keep him. Nope, they don't have to. Need a quarterback in the first round. Sign Wilkins, fire Greer, and hire Belichick. They'll never do that. Let's say Christian Wilkins. I can't put that up. Sorry. Down here, next year's optional. Okay, here's a good point. If Tua threatens to sit out if he doesn't get paid, let him. Yeah, for sure. Let him. Hey, listen, I'm not playing unless I get $45 million. You want to take that risk? You know, we said Christian Wilkins bet on himself, and he went out there and balled out. Tua, you want to sit out? You want to tell me before we get into free agency and the draft that you're willing to hold out? You want to go there? Because if we draft somebody or we give somebody else a shot from free agency, you may just cook yourself. So again, you want to bet on that? Go ahead and hold out. If I were Chris Greer or Stephen Ross, I'm like, I'm not paying him that. I already got him locked up. Don't need to make a move. Why would I make a move? Why possibly would you play the chess match right now? Oh, the only reason is because you're hurting money and you need Tua to take a different deal to restructure the mistakes you made with this year's roster. You're making a financial move, not an earned move. Tua's lucky enough to be on a team where the general manager completely effed up. And so he needs to move money around. So he's going to give Tua some extra money, call it mostly a bonus, and do this and that so that the salary cap can be manipulated. In the interim, though, you're going to sign Tua to some big contract over 4 or 5 years, and you may be hiring a ball boy in a couple years. Eventually, you have to draft a quarterback. You have to bring somebody in to compete with him. What happens if that quarterback that you bring in, and you better bring one in, beats Tua out? Oh, it'll never happen. Oh, no, you're right. It will never happen because you will force this guy, even if it was Skylar Thompson, to sit on the bench and never get the reps in practice to even challenge Tua. We all know that. We all know that will never happen because Tua has already said, I don't know if I suck. Well, finally, I would use that as a bargaining chip. Do you really think I should give you $45 million when you're not even sure if you suck or not? How about you show me next year? I want McCarthy from University of Michigan. He could be a good one. Legend says $23 million is even too much for Tua. So this is where you get the classic whataboutism. If Tua hasn't proved anything, neither has Herbert. Herbert doesn't play for the Miami Dolphins. Doesn't at all. And so why are you comparing what Herbert did and what the Los Angeles Chargers did with Herbert to the Miami Dolphins? So what you're saying is, if they screwed up and paid Herbert too much money, then the Miami Dolphins should be stupid and do the same thing. That's basically what you're saying. Well, he got it. I mean, I understand some of you guys may have socialistic or communistic mindsets in regards to football. I remember when I owned rental property and I lived in Fort Lauderdale, and I would get my bill from the city for taxes. And I guess they don't think people even check this stuff, or most people don't know. And I would get my taxes and sewer bill and stuff from the city of Fort Lauderdale, and I went, And then I would get it from my rental property, and I'm like, same fire department, same water and sewer, same garbage disposal. Why is my home 6 times more taxed than the rental property that may be over in a less than desirable neighborhood? You got it. I actually had somebody tell me that. I'm like, so the only reason this property isn't as high is because this one's worth more, even though you're paying for the same services. Yeah, you got it. So that's what you're saying. Pay Herbert because you got it. I mean, pay Tua because Herbert got it. It doesn't make any sense. That what about isn't that you just said is stupid. It has nothing to do with business. Why should I incur the same friggin' mistake that those guys did? Doesn't make any sense, man. You just stepped yourself and you just played yourself on that one. Maybe Tua gets his bell rung and it reverses his concussions, or just the opposite. Maybe he gets his bell rung and he's done, and you've given him a guaranteed contract. You see, there's so many ifs out there. Yeah, other quarterbacks could get their bell rung and stuff, but Tua has already shown a propensity for being injured, and you're going to go ahead and lock in for $45 or $50 million? Good friggin' luck. Stephen Ross is allowing Chris Grier to be a disgrace, and this proves Brian Flores' point. Stephen Ross is paying for the Dolphins to lose games by keeping Tua, Ross, and Grier are frauds. So maybe what you're saying essentially is what the other guy is saying. Hey, listen, I don't care if you win or lose. My bottom line looks great. So go ahead and play with that any way you want. I don't care, Chris. My thing is I'm looking at the overall ledger, and I'm looking at admission, television revenue, parking, concessions. As long as this number looks good, I could give a shit what this team does. That's what you're saying. And guess everyone is trash on the Dolphins except Waddle, Wilkins, Ramsey, and Mostert and Achane. You know that some people were actually out there saying that Jalen Waddle should be traded. Great young talent, gets hurt quite a bit, but they're now dabbling out there saying we should trade Jalen Waddle. They're actually saying that. I could not even believe it. Vipey says play him for another year, bring in a decent backup to light a fire under him. If it's the same result, then make your big money decision. I don't see what the problem is with that. I think Tua sees a problem with that. The fact that he and his agents are pushing for money now tells me you're not willing to stake your future on your performance next year. And if Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel and Stephen Ross stood firm, he's got nowhere to go. It's the perfect negotiating situation. Hey, Tua, we're not budging. What? No. You're playing on your option next year, and that's it. Do what you want to do. You want to sit out? Let me know now. Actually, I'm going to tell you. If you don't sign by March 1st, we're going to go ahead, not sign, you're already signed. If you don't agree to play on your 5th-year option by March 1st, we're drafting a quarterback. We're going to pick somebody right in the 1st or 2nd round. We're going to go after a quarterback if you don't agree to play on your 5th-year option. Put it on him. Call his friggin' bluff. That's what a good business person would do. Okay, let's see. Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy. Sam Howell's going to get bounced out of Washington if they draft Drake May. Yeah, Justin Fields might be. Man, there's options, which is another thing people on Twitter say. Well, if you don't have Tua, who else are you going to get? As if there's nobody else out there. If you don't have Tua, who else would there be? Are you kidding me? Are you that inept to think that there is no other quarterback that Mike McDaniel could build an offense around? No other quarterback anywhere other than Tua that he could do something with. Chris Grier, get out there, make some trades, bring somebody in. Chris Grier, get out there, have a good draft a couple young quarterbacks, let them play it out. Chris Grier, check out free agency, see who might be available. What do you mean, who else are you going to bring in? That just tells me how in the tank and how stupid you are if you don't think that another quarterback can be brought in. That's insane. That's saying that you checked out and you're so far in the tank for Tua that you don't think there could be another quarterback. Oh, there's nobody that could come in. Tua is like the left arm of God. Let's see here. Hey, Barry, Dave Brown got paid. Tua should too. Just joking. What's this here? Barry, listen to yourself. You don't... Wait a minute. Barry, listen to yourself. You don't sound like you think and you call yourself a Christian. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole... I just had to sit there and think about what you just said and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Barry, I've lived here since 1967. South Beach was an old folks' home. The Dolphins were winners. South Beach party time. Dolphins losers. Good point. Very good point. Would I trust Chris Grier to draft a good quarterback? I don't think people trust Chris Grier to do much of anything right now. I mean, he's talking... You're going to see him probably go after some cheap linemen, maybe some cheap hurt linemen. I mean, who knows what he's going to do? Doesn't seem like we heard from the Vic Fangio thing that he wants to... Oh, I got to talk about that too. Doesn't seem like he wants to go ahead and move forward and pick a big lineman. He may be forced to if Teron Armstead retires, but that would force his hand. So let me get into some. I kind of tipped it. So I don't have the video, but there's a video going around right now where Javon Holland, number one, remember the Kick Rocks video? Right when Vic Fangio, retired, fired, moved on, mutual. He put that video out of him kicking rocks. Go ahead and look on his Instagram page and see if you see it. It's gone. He took it down. It's like it never happened, except for a lot of people downloaded it. Then he did an interview today and said, that video had nothing to do with Vic Fangio. What? Why are you now lying? Yeah, people took it the wrong way, meaning I was telling the guy to kick rocks, and so it had nothing to do with Vic Fangio. Hey, Javon, there's timestamps, right? People can correlate and say, okay, he put this up at this time, then the news came out about Vic Fangio. Now he can't. He deleted it. Why would you delete the video of you kicking rocks? Did Mike McDaniel finally get a hold of these guys and say, shut the F up? Take that video down? Maybe Mike did, because I told you Blake Ferguson took down his tweet about the Baltimore Ravens. Is someone finally waking up in this organization and saying, stop the nuttiness? We already got enough of a problem with Tyreek lying about his fake divorce that has a real hearing in a couple weeks. The fake divorce where the wife hired a real attorney. The fake divorce that was filed on January 22nd, and now we're into February, that's still moving forward. But Tyreek is shut up about it too. So somebody has probably walked into that locker room or called by people in and said, shut up. Stop talking shit. You got to stop. Which is a good thing. Which is a very good thing. So before I close, I got to give you a quick update. And that update is not good news. It's not good news at all. The Dolphins have lost out on another defensive coordinator. Leslie Frazier, who everybody was talking about, is going to go coach with the Seattle Seahawks. So he's joining Mike Macdonald's staff in Seattle, and he's going to be some sort of defensive coordinator, or is it a coordinator or assistant head coach out there in Seattle? People don't like me saying it, but obviously, it's obvious at this point that what happened with Vic Fangio and the chatter around Vic Fangio is obviously causing the Miami Dolphins some problems, is causing the Miami Dolphins some issues. They haven't hit on any of the guys that they wanted to hire or supposedly interview. None of them. Ofer, complete washout, strike. Why? Why is that? As I said, if you got an elite quarterback that's going to keep the Dolphins off the field, you got an offensive guru as a head coach. It's in beautiful South Florida, paradise. It seemed like this to be the place that every coach would be knocking down the doors to get into. In fact, some people a couple of weeks ago told me I was stupid for saying Vic Fangio was going to cause a problem with him leaving here. Oh, Barry, everyone's going to want to be down here in Miami. Really? None of them. So now we're down to basement, Walmart bin, discount rack. So the name everyone's talking about right now is Anthony Weaver, who couldn't even get the defensive coordinator position at the team he is with right now. He is with the Baltimore Ravens. Mike McDonald, who was the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, is now in Seattle. That defensive coordinator position was open. Hey, why don't we put Anthony Weaver in there? Nah, we're going to bring in somebody else. So Anthony Weaver couldn't even get the defensive coordinator position at the team he's on. But the Miami Dolphins may be the place that Anthony Weaver ends up. After all 31 other teams have basically locked up everybody they want, now you just got to sift through the rest. It's like, I won't say it, but it's like going to a dance and there ain't nobody there. It's 2 o'clock, the lights are coming on, and slim pickings. So people are now talking about Anthony Weaver, and then, of course, Brandon Staley, who, coached with the Rams, and Mike McDaniel knows as well. So maybe it's Brandon Staley who got fired. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's Anthony Weaver. Maybe it's somebody we don't know. Maybe they give Mike Vrabel a crap load of money to come in and be the head coach in waiting. I think that would be crazy for Mike McDaniel to bring in Mike Vrabel, because at that point, you know he's looking over your shoulder. Oh, I'm gonna have this job, and when I have this job, this dude Tua is out the door. I got to do something. So anyway, we don't have a defensive coordinator as of 8:30. No, I should say as of 7:30 when I went live. So it may have changed by now. In the last hour, they may have signed somebody. Don't know. But the only two names out there right now that people are bandying about is Anthony Weaver and Brandon Staley, because Leslie Frazier is off the books. He's been taken. He's going someplace else. Would have been nice to have a guy who knew Buffalo intimately. Couldn't close the deal. Why can't Miami close the deal on a defensive coordinator? If it's not Vic Fangio talking shit about the Dolphins, if it's not him, what's the reason why Miami hasn't been able to close the deal on anybody else as of this moment right now? Just ask yourself that question. Beautiful area, up-and-coming team, supposed elite quarterback, supposed offensive guru as a head coach that'll keep the defense off the field. Why is nobody coming? Why are you still looking? Chris Greer, are you the problem? Can't be Mike. Mike knows all these guys. He knows Brandon Staley. He knows a bunch of these guys. What's going on? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Mike Vrabel, I would be shocked if he took a defensive coordinator job as a demotion. Shocked if he took that. No to Leslie, get real. I don't care. I'm just telling you they were looking at him, and now he's not going to be there. Don't blame me for even mentioning Leslie Frazier. This was someone that everybody was talking about. So I didn't suggest it. I haven't suggested anybody. Nope, not my business. Go ahead and see who you can sign. Then we'll look up who this person's credentials are. All I'm saying is they've got nobody. None. Nada. I'm starting a group called Fins Anonymous. Fins Up says everyone is saying hell no. Miami is the problem. Something's wrong. I think at this point, rational people who are not in the tank have to begin looking at it and go, something's wrong here, man. How are we not getting anybody? So we're down to the basic bottom of the barrel at this point. And so it's what, Anthony Weaver or Brandon Staley. And maybe it's a third person. I don't know. They may be playing it close to the vest. But everybody else is off the table. They've already decided where they're going. Dolphins didn't get any of them. Any of them. Shut down South Beach during the season. That ain't going to happen. Weaver could be the guy, but then you have to ask ask yourself a question. Why did the Baltimore Ravens go outside and not let Anthony Weaver have their DC position? He's there. He's been there. He's worked there. Why did they not elevate him? If he's that good, right? We need someone from the Spagnola tree. Absolutely, that'd be good. Now you're peddling the notion that Leslie rejected the Dolphins. No, I'm not. Stop putting words in my mouth. Stop putting... Dude, you can't be that much of a homer to try and do that. What I just told you was he's off the table. He's done. He's gone. I didn't say that he rejected the Dolphins. I'm saying he's no longer in play. And the Dolphins, once again, everybody was talking about it, and he's not coming to Miami. You can say whatever you want in terms of why. Bottom line, he's not coming. Then, so if they were talking about it, and let's see here, now you're hearing about Brandon Staley and Anthony Weaver as being the last two men standing. What will you say if one of those two guys or both of those guys don't take the job? Oh, it doesn't mean that he rejected the Dolphins. Okay. Hey, Tom, what's going on? Miami's new motto, please don't squeeze the shot. It's funny. I just try to get people to communicate and talk. And Tom, you're so funny. But this other guy, what's his name? Sea Biscuit, whatever, Sea Devil, says I'm peddling things. I'm like, dude, people are talked about for the last couple of days, maybe last week, that Leslie Frazier was an option and the Dolphins may be going after him. For whatever reason, you can call it he didn't reject it, but he chose someplace else. Now, I don't know if you're married. I'm not sure. But if you don't get married to the person you wanted to be with, then there's a reason. Did she reject you? Did you reject them? I don't really care. You just didn't get with the person who people were talking about. I'm not peddling anything. I'm just giving you news. Peddling Tootsies. Maybe that would be actually a closing point. Maybe if they brought some of these guys down, hey man, we're going to go to Tootsie's. We're going to hook you up. And then we're going to go down to the mansion or live or something down at South Beach. Maybe you want to get that kind of coach. You know, everyone says you got to get a coach that's relatable. Well, take one of these guys down to Tootsie and make it rain. Make it rain. Maybe that'll work for you. May not work for the defense, but who knows? Seabiscuit is purposely misunderstanding what he's saying. Yeah, he does that all the time. I don't know why he watches, but he just tries to find and take a different route with something. I can show you. Or you can just go look yourself and see how many people talked about Leslie Frazier. I didn't bring up Leslie Frazier. I had no idea that Leslie Frazier was going to be a candidate. So for whatever reason, he is no longer a candidate. Not peddling anything. He's not here. He is now, according to what Tom Pelissero says, he is with the Seattle Seahawks. You can look. Let's see if this is Tom Pelissero talking about did anything happen with Anthony Weaver? Let's see, 2 hours. Carl Weathers died. That's a shame. The Rams are hiring Jeff Smith. Let's see if they got anything news about anybody else. The Buccaneers are hiring a coordinator. Nope, I don't see Jim Harbaugh. The Rams, as you know, Chris Shula, Don's grandson, is staying as a defensive coordinator. I don't know. I don't know who the Dolphins are going to get. Maybe it is going to be Anthony Weaver. Thank you very much, Quay. I just try to give you the stuff that I see. And I do put some, obviously, inflection on things that I see in terms of what some of these people are out there saying. Let me see if I got to cover anything else. That's pretty much it, And it is what it is. And people get pissed off because I even bring some of this shit up. They don't even like me talking about it. I hear that over and over and over again. What kind of fan are you? I'm a tell the truth type of fan. I'm the fan who's going to show you that for the last 6 weeks, you've been talking about how big it meant to be in the Pro Bowl. And then 24 hours later, not even 24 hours later, like, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. I'm the one who's going to show you Dan Marino from 33 years ago that people are still spreading today and saying, look at what Dan Marino did 33 years ago. Oh, it's amazing what he did at the Pro Bowl games. Whatever it was called back then, a quarterback challenge. Oh, it was simply amazing. You think they're going to be showing Tua's highlights 33 years from now? No, it ain't going to happen. Left armor God, little g, God, will not be seeing his highlights 33 years from now. Dan the man, yeah, we all saw it. We saw his face. We saw his game face. And it just drives me crazy when I see people comparing Tua to Dan Marino. It just drives me nuts. Let's see here. Happy Fun Time said Tua was top 5 in stats because of Hill. Definitely not a top 5 quarterback yet. Dan, no Super Bowl. Marino. Yep, I can agree with that. Yeah, he didn't get one. Well, yeah, the dunk contest used to mean something too. But it didn't turn overnight. Or rather, same day. It wasn't like we watched the dunk contest at 8 o'clock and by 8:30 we were saying, that doesn't mean anything. What? This was supposed to be a big profile event. And literally 15 minutes after it was over, hey, I don't care, it doesn't mean anything. Any of you guys talking about this, you're haters. You're haters. When literally I just showed you these guys pushed this shit for weeks. You gotta vote. It's that important. So now, since you know that, when people tell you next year or whatever that Tua is a Pro Bowl quarterback, you can now say, hey guys, we know already that doesn't mean anything. You told us that. Now you can't have it both ways. Don't talk to me in a couple months and say Tua's got to get $45 million. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback. Oh, hey, you just told us all. I got the receipts. Even Tua said he's got receipts. I got some receipts. I just showed them to you. You say that the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything. Tua doesn't care. All right. Thank you. You just made the Pro Bowl attribution for Tua mean absolutely nothing. Not me. You did. All right, guys, I hope you have a good weekend. I'm probably not going to post tomorrow or Sunday. Maybe get back with you on Monday. Thank you all. Do me a favor before you leave.
Come on. Show some love.
Go ahead and click that like button. Click it a lot. Click it like you're stuffing the ballot for a Pro Bowl. Except it does mean something to me. Hey, everybody, have a good night, good Friday evening. Thank you for tuning in.